All right, welcome back to Sports Part 2. I thought I would do a bit of a Supercoach reveal. I've seen that a lot of people are doing it, getting on the trend and getting a lot of views, so why not steal some views from people? Why not? But this is my second year playing Supercoach, but I have absolutely smashed out my Fantasy Premier League, my FPL, so I think I've got the mindset down. I know you got to make money, got to make points, generate cash, generate points. So hopefully I can do this. Done a lot of research. You got to grind. You got to crunch some numbers. You got to be very analytical about it. So here is my team. You'll see it up here as well. But here is my team. Starting at hooker, we've got Appy Coruscant from the Panthers and Blake Brayley from the Sharks. So I went for Appy and Blake because they're both relatively cheap. Only cost me about 540,000, a touch under.
So how much do you start with?
You start with about 9.8 million, I think.
Okay.
Around that.
Why not just round it up to 10?
Mate, that extra 200,000 could be key. Mate, if I had an extra 200,000, mate, I'd come first.
But like everyone's getting the extra 200,000 though.
Yeah. Mate, I tell you, they crunch the numbers, mate. They're more analytical than me, mate. So yeah, they actually come in about 200,000 cheaper than Damien Cook, who is the premium for one player. So you get two players for 200,000 less. So basically, I'm starting with 10 million.
Yeah.
Add that to 200,000. But I think Blake Brayley, everyone's going to have him. I assume his percentage. Let me get his percentage up right now. I reckon it's through the roof. Brayley is owned by 49% of players, so everyone's going to have him. He's the cheapie that everyone wants. You're not going to get past that.
He's good bang for your buck.
He is literally good bang for your buck. He's most likely going to get 60 to 80 minutes at the Sharks since his brother left Jaden Brayley to the Knights. So at starting at basement price, essentially 30k above basement, he could go up to 450, 500,000 within 2 months. So then you can upgrade to your Cooks or your Smiths and even your McInneses once he comes back from his injury, which is about 12 weeks, so it should be back around 8 weeks. So there you go. So Blake Brayley and Appy Coruscant, I think at my Penrith Panthers can make a big splash at 338,000. I think that he is very undervalued, and he's going to get 80 minutes at the Panthers. So I think he's good value. I think he could go up to 500, 600,000. So you could definitely make a jump up to Cook if you wanted to. Then in my front row, I have the gun of all guns, the man everyone needs to have. He's up over 50% owned as of right now. It is Payne Haas. What an absolute machine. He ended the year with 1,600 points or something, and he didn't play 5 games. He would have been probably the highest if he played all the games.
What was the highest? Do you know?
I think it was like 18.
Oh, okay. So he's not far off.
Yeah. But yeah, he is just a workhorse. He's going to get you 70 to 100 points every night. Put the captain on him and just reap the rewards of the big Bronco. Last year, he cost 181,000. No, sorry, 181,000. That was his price last year. And this year, he cost 728,000.
Fucking Christ.
So he has had a monster blow up. So definitely get him out. You're going to be missing out 60 points a night if you don't have him. So it's just silly not to. And I went for Liam Knight to partner him. Not really sure about that yet, but it seems that he's going to be playing 80 minutes. Not 80 minutes. He seems to be playing lock for Wayne Bennett's Rabbitohs, with Cam Murray sliding into the back row, which is why he's an omission on my team. But I think he was pumping out 47 points per match when he played over 40 minutes last year. So if he can get up to 60 minutes, we're looking at 65 base. So 65 average. So, I mean, what's not to love? At 437,000, he's going to make some coin. Then on the bench, I just have 2 sort of cheapies, 2 guys to look out for. I don't even know how to say their names. Utoka Manu, I think, is one of them. And the other guy's name is like Koala Matunu or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. Those 2 guys, big rookies with big raps, so they definitely look like they're going to be coming up soon. Maybe not now, but may as well get them in now to beat the other people trying to bring them in, and you don't have to waste your trades later on. Then in the second row, I have Tamalolo, Madison, Fafita, Aloye, Flegler, and Tino Fusamanua, I think is how you say it. Something like that. I could be completely wrong on that.
That sounds like
as
a very nice, like, Asian food.
Yeah. So Tamalolo, again, the raging bull, the bull in a China shop, much like Payne Haas. You need to have him. Last year, he averaged over 75 points a game. The first game he had, he got 99. Then he got injured, and then he came back with like 110. So he's just an absolute machine. Ryan Madison on that edge at the Eels. The Eels have the golden draw. Early doors, they have the easiest schedule. Strength of schedule is the easiest. So I expect big points from Eels. And then David Fafita, much like Payne Haas, is just a gun that you need. Up around 50% ownership as well. Must have him in your team. Because last year when he played, when he wasn't on the bench, I think he was averaging over 70. But then when he was on the bench, he was only averaging about 40. So there's a big price disparity. Because if he was played the whole year, he'd be up around 700,000.
Yeah.
But because he only played in the back end, his
less.
numbers are down.
Yeah.
But if you look at the trend, he's trending upwards, not downwards. So definitely get him in at that price. Aloye and Flegler are just more holds for now. I might not use them. I'm looking at Tarpany. I'm looking at Cohen Hess. I'm looking at Herman Sasa in that spot. Flegler, I think he's essential now with Matt Lodge out for about 8 to 12 weeks with the MCL sprain, or the ACL sprain, which he's already had before. Luckily, it wasn't a season ender for him, but Flegler seems to be essential now because he's definitely starting, I would assume, because Offa Hingawi, I think, will be on the bench. And Tino, again, is much like the other boys up front. Wait and see. He could be special, that kid. He's a giant. He's like 6'5", full of muscle, like that guy from Down Under in Vegemite sandwiches. All right, in halfback and 5'8", I have Turpin, Munster, Luai, and Cooper Johns, which is Matty Johns' son. If anyone knows who that is, I'm sure a lot of you do. Turpin, I think, is going to be a good shout this year. Going to probably play hooker ahead of McCulloch. So getting another hooker in is always great. He's going to be a workhorse. He's just going to slog out 40 tackles. He's going to get you a massive base. I'm expecting about 50 to 60 there per game. Nathan Cleary is my goal there, but he costs 630,000 and Turpin's 330,000. I just don't have 300,000, unfortunately. Munster, I've just used him. Storm have a fairly easy draw as well, and Cam Munster can just explode. Last year, I want to look at his stats really quickly. Let me get this up.
So how much did you have left after getting all your players?
I have about 20k left.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Don't have much fat left.
Yeah. So Cam Munster is very explosive, but with Cam, you have to deal with the lows as well as the highs. You have to stick with it because when you get rid of him, he explodes, and when you get him in, he might get 30. So he started off last year 105, excellent score.
Yeah.
40, 55, pretty average. Then 88, 78, pretty big scores. And then he went for 40, 68, 46, and you're like, oh, maybe it's not worth it. Bang, 159. He just explodes. And then he had a 90, a 90, a 94, 127. So he can just explode at any time. It's a bit risky.
But at that point, though, he's either, like, good or okay.
And then eventually
like
it's
not,
even.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely one that you just got to have, especially for such an easy draw, as well as Pappenhausen being as explosive and as sort of violent at the line as he is.
So how much is he?
Munster's 644, so he is very pricey. He's one of the pricier players in the game, but he's just got that explosive ability. And I'll talk about Pappenhausen because I do have him. He's so violent going through the line that a Munster ball through, a nothing ball could lead to a line break try assist. So, got to have him, I think, personally. Luai Johns, mainly just sort of filler at the moment. Luai looks to be in line to get a starting position at my Panthers. And Johns, he's going to play eventually. He's going to be State of Origin cover or something, so could be useful. Then in my centers, I've spent relatively big, but also have sort of spaced it out. I've gone with Brian To'o, Blake Ferguson, Wanga Blake, Zach Lomax, Tristan Saylor, Xavier Coates, and the Hammer. His name is Hamiso Tabao Fido. He
Wait,
is
how many names does he have?
3. Hamiso, Tabao, Fido.
Does he include his middle name in like
No,
his
that's
career name?
no.
Or is that just like the first name?
No, Hamiso's his first name.
Yeah.
And then Tabao
Hyphen.
hyphen Fido.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
He impressed me at the 9s, and at basement price, I may as well have him. Lele Sau is another one that you could look at from the Titans, but I've just taken the punt on Tabao Fido because he looked like Pappenhausen-esque. He was violent through the line, and he was explosive. So be on the lookout. So Toto, huge base for a winger, can cross the line. Panthers have a relatively tough draw, one of the toughest draws, but he loves to get stuck in. He's going to get 30 to 40 points just in runs and tackles. And if he gets a try, he's going to be upwards of 80 every week. So definitely look for that. He's going to get, in the first 6 weeks, I would assume 4 tries at least. I would think, but maybe he has a down year. He's still a teenager, so maybe not, but that's what I would bank on. Blake Ferguson, again, I'm just sort of relying on 2 workhorses. He's going to have probably his best season. He came off an injury. So last season he was recovering from an injury that he just came back from, so he wasn't at his best. And he was still one of the best players in the league. So I think coming back again. And last year he cost about 630,000. This year he cost 505. So
Wait, why would he be less?
Because he had a worse year than he did the year before. So
But
he had
he was
a huge
injured, though.
year.
So surely that would be taken into
No,
account.
they just use the numbers. So that's why you can get
Okay.
some bargains sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
okay, fair enough. So you got to like look into the history of each player as well.
Yeah. So Blake
This is
Ferguson
next
is most
level.
likely going to lead the league in run meters like he has before. He's just a workhorse. He loves to get stuck in. He's a giant of a man, built like a brick shithouse and can run through the walls. So get him in if you can. I think he's essential. He looked amazing at the 9s. We'll see in trials coming up. But Blake Ferguson, to me, at 505 is a no-brainer. Then I have Wonga Blake sort of as a placeholder. Plays for the Eels as well. He is tagged as injured, but don't be worried about that. He should be back for round 1. You can always change him out if not. At 386k, with that draw, with his sort of explosiveness, I think he's a must as well. Zach Lomax, fullback, kicks goals for the Dragons. He's going to get points. Saylor, Coates, and Tibau, mainly just placeholders. If someone else better comes along that I can afford, they'll go in. I like Saylor because, again, he looks to be further ahead of Saab in the pecking order. So there's 2 people fighting for 1 spot. I've banked on Saylor, but if he doesn't, I can swap to Saab. Either. Pick one of them on your bench, I think. I think it's essential. Then at the back, I've gone for Ponga and Pappenhausen. Ponga last year at fullback, when he played the full game, averaged about 90, I believe. Insane stats. He started the year slow because he was playing at 5'8", but the man is just a wrecking ball at the back. He loves a long ball. He can get a try. He can get an assist. Breaks the line with ease. Ponga. I did want Tedesco, but 150,000 more, I can't justify it. I would have to sort of downgrade Munster, but I think downgrading Munster and upgrading Ponga
It's not worth it.
is not worth it. The points I don't think would weigh up as well. So Ponga for me and Pappenhausen first picked. He is essentially basement price for a elite fullback. He's 500,000, which basement price is technically 171,000. But with how good he is, like the best sort of ranking. So the best 4 fullbacks are 780, 714, 658, and 634. And then there's a massive gap between, like, because then there's other people that are like 650, 550. But then you have him, who everyone is classing as elite for like 150k less.
Yeah.
So there's people worse than him, more expensive.
So
I
it's a
think
no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Pappenhausen, I love his mustache. Again, he runs through walls. He is so explosive. Like, there's a guy, I don't know if I spoke about him on here before, but Bo Jackson. He was so explosive, played NFL and baseball as well at the professional level. He was so explosive that he literally ended his own career because he ran too hard. He got tackled. He had a guy wrapped around his leg and he pumped so hard out that he popped his bone out. And then he never recovered.
Fucking Christ.
He was so powerful. And Pappenhausen is just insane. He's a freak athlete. And so
That's
so is Bo
crazy.
Jackson. But that is my team. Subject to change. There is some tinkering to do, obviously. Teamless Tuesday comes out in about 2 weeks. So be on the lookout. There's the team. And there you go.
Fucking hell.
Boom.
I can't get over the popping your whole bone out. That's insane to me.
He was a freak.
And mate, hearing you talk about all this, it's like...
It's another world, mate.
It really is, but like a very in-depth world.
Mate, I've had it all figured out. The ones... I did have locks. Now, that's one thing that I wanted to point out. Some people I needed in my team that I think are going to explode. Payne Haas, Ryan Madison, David Fafita.
So you're not changing them out?
I will not change them.
Yeah.
Tamalolo, Blake Ferguson, and that's probably... And Pappenhausen. I will not change them. They're all essential to my team. I will not change them. Anyone else is removable.
Yeah.
Even guys like Cameron Munster, Kalen Ponga.
You can like swap and change them.
They cost 644 and 634 combined, so that's like a ninth of the salary cap just to them, essentially. Yeah. And they are... I can change them. I can't change Blake Ferguson. He only costs 500,000. Like, I don't think I can get rid of him.
Yeah.
I don't think I can get
Yeah,
rid of
there's
him.
nothing like worth that amount out there.
Yeah. So be sure to tune in. I'm sure I'll keep up to date. But the footy starts in 3 weeks yesterday. Well, this is coming out on Tuesday, so about 5 days ago.
Yeah, around about that.
Yeah, so it comes out on... Well, from Tuesday, it'll be about...
So 2 and a bit.
It'll be 16 days from today.
There you go.
2 weeks and 2 days.
Wow.
There you go.
That's kind of quick.
Mate, it has. All right.
That's a wrap.